All right, welcome to day 14 of the Advent Calendar. And we're doing one of my perennial favorites, Oban 14. So, okay, I have thoughts about this. So far, whatever, 14 days in, we're 2 weeks in, I have not thought about the artist comparison until I hit record until today. Today, there's conflict in my head, and I had to wait to record this video until I could think it through and process it a little bit. So these videos have been far more improv than anyone realizes. No prep other than, I know the whiskeys, and if we had some of the reps to talk to, which mostly we didn't. But the thing about Oban, first, it's always incredible. No matter where you are, no matter what bar I'm in, if they've got Oban, I'll start with Oban 14. And then I'll switch to, the smokier stuff or maybe try a bourbon or something like that. But if they got Oban 14, it's just like, all right, what do you want? Give me an Oban 14. We'll start with that. And because it's a gracious entry into evening drinking. You start with Lafroig, everything's going to be kind of mild. You start with bourbon. There's different things, right? But if they've got Oban 14, I'll start with Oban 14. But here's the weird thing about Oban 14. It's a Highland whiskey, and it's on the main coast, on the west coast of Scotland. It's not on an island, although, is it though? Technically, isn't any distillery in Scotland an island whiskey? Anyway, it's on the mainland of Scotland, the main chunk of the island. But it is far closer to the flavor profile of island Scotch than any other Highland whiskey, I think. It's got way more in common with Talisker and Ledaig than it does, with Dalmore or Deanston or, right, the more mid-Highlands. And because of that, it's got this sort of, for me, this vague identity crisis. And I don't mean that in a bad way. This is a classic Scotch. But I always feel like it belongs more with islands than Highlands, even though it's classified as a Highland whiskey. And so you get this whiskey that is, and for every practical geographical listed as a Highland Scotch, but for every drinking purpose, belongs in the islands. That citrus but still slightly briny and malt funk, and it's a honey, slight pepper. It's just, damn, right down the middle. I was drinking this last night at a bar and thinking about how much I liked it. Son of a bitch. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to go with two artists on this one. I think that this could either be Foy Vance, who, is Foy Irish? I can't remember if he's Irish. Anyway, he's not from America. But if you listen to Foy Vance, he sounds like just kick-ass folk blues. He does a really kick-ass looping thing with his own vocals and his own guitar, so he can be a whole infrastructure while he's playing solo. And I really like Foy Vance. I stumbled onto him from a live performance of him doing, is it Shine a Light? Anyway, it's gospel. It's gospel blues folk from a non-American. It's perfect, just spot on. And so you get someone who, geographically, not gospel blues folk, but in every other aspect of their personality and their delivery of their music, gospel folk. It's just, he's got soul, man. He's got Southern soul. And I don't know where he got it from, but it's there. The other one is going to be an artist that I totally misjudged at first and hated on principle. without giving him a chance of listening to him. And that was, well, I'll tell you in a second. So this artist brought us one of my least favorite artists in the world, which is Jack Johnson, who drives me bananas. There's only one chord progression on freaking every song. It's just the quintessential background music that doesn't matter and isn't important and is nice if you don't have to actually listen to it. Oh, it's so rude. I've never been that rude about whiskey, but I feel okay being that rude about music. I really dislike Jack Johnson's music. And this artist is the one who sort of discovered him and helped him record his first album, put on the map. And so on principle, I always hated this artist. And then one day I was on tour. We were in a hotel somewhere in the Midwest. I couldn't sleep. I turned on the late night TV, and this guy, I missed the introduction to the artist, but I started right when he started playing. And he's sitting down in a chair with a lap slide, and it's just him alone on a lap slide, and 3 backup vocalists doing gospel backup vocals. And he played the whole song by himself. And by the end of it, I was sitting on the edge of the bed going, oh, that's one of the best things I've heard in years. Who the hell is this? And then the guy got up from behind his desk at the night show and walked over and said, everybody give a hand to Ben Harper. And I went, son of a bitch. I love Ben Harper. And this whole time I've always avoided him and kind of been a little bitter because he's pretty directly responsible for bringing Jack Johnson into the world. But I'd never listened to his music. I listened to his music one time. Son of a bitch, I was a convert. I am a huge Ben Harper fan now of most of the things he's done. Even the album he did with his mom, and which I have actually on vinyl. But it's one of those things where if you've heard only a few songs from Ben Harper, you don't understand what he's capable of because he's so diverse. And I think Oban is one of those that if you just classified as a classic malt and a classic, Highland, then you don't understand what this thing is capable of. There is subtlety and nuance that as you eat, as you change whiskeys, as you come back to it, this whiskey keeps changing and holding up to all the variances. And that's pretty impressive. So, by the way, the song that Ben Harper was playing was When It's Good. When it's good, it's so, so good. And when it's gone, gone, it's gone. And it was truly glorious. Until tomorrow, may your crazy stay this side of legal. And may you return before we have time to miss you. Cheers.